right, guys. All right. So I want to talk about the CEO of Gettr, because there seems to be a lot of misinformation flying around lately, and I apologise because I might have also brought into some of it myself. So Miles Cho, or Guoo, I presume that's Cho, is actually a billionaire from China who has been exiled by China. Now we'll get into the whole backstory of him and everything in a minute. But he's put out things like a music video talking about with like Fight for Hong Kong. He's proudly stood up for the rights of Hong Kong against the CCP. He talks about taking down the CCP. He now resides in America, where he's exiled to the States because China wants to arrest him. Look, to me, between you and me, this is actually making this guy seem like he's got, well, kind of red-pilled. So we're going to break it all down. We're going to explain it all to you. We're going to talk about the controversies and stuff like that. But I think there's a lot of psyop campaigns running at the moment to discredit Gettr. And there seems to be a few people on Twitter that are posting things, and I feel like saying, dude, you really need to check into this guy. Like, there's this one guy posted an image, right? And it was the photo of all the FBI agents, and it had the caption, "When you meet your friends from Gettr in real life," and it was saying that they're all feds. I had a bit of a chuckle, but to be honest, I think there might be alternative means or alternative motives behind some of the people posting this sort of stuff. And I think the people, look, maybe the person posting it just brought the propaganda, or maybe they're the feds. Just saying. So let's talk about the actual CEO of Gettr. Let's break down what we know about him. And yeah, we'll go from there. So this is a video that he's put out. So it's called Fight for Hong Kong. As you can see, Statue of Liberty in the background there. Obviously, he has a very nice lifestyle. Obviously, lucky man. But yeah, like he's talking about the CCP is over. Take down the CCP. To me, this guy sounds like he's red pilled. This doesn't seem like it's a like people were saying that Gettr is CCP. It's run and owned by the CCP. No, this does not seem like it's run and owned by the CCP. This seems like it's actually the opposite. This is actually giving me a little bit of hope for Gettr. Like, he's saying, take down the CCP. Now, obviously, words are cheap, right? But he's literally put out a song supporting Hong Kong, talking about taking down the CCP. So, like, this doesn't seem like it's CCP propaganda. This doesn't seem like it was what we were originally led to believe, that Gettr is CCP owned. In fact, it seems like it might be the opposite. So, who is this guy? So, Zhang Weijini, he's Chinese. He was born on the 10th of May, 1970, or the 5th of October in 1968. So, there seems to be a little bit of upsies about his birthday. Also known as the names as John Honey, Miles Zhong, and Miles Kuo. He's an exiled Chinese billionaire businessman who has become a political activist and controls Beijing Kenneth Holdings. So he holds it via proxies and other assets. At the peak of his career, he was the 73rd richest person in China. Now, he has been accused of corruption and other misdeeds by the Chinese authorities. We know how honest the Chinese are, right? And fled to the United States in 2014 after learning he was going to be arrested under allegations including bribery, kidnapping, money laundering, and fraud and grope. It's also a colleague of Stephen Bannon and a member of the former US President Donald Trump Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. So he's claimed that he's a whistleblower, but some of his statements were unable to be verified by the newspapers such as the New York Times. The New York Times also wrote about Russiagate too, right? So between 2018 and 2020, he launched 2 media projects with Stephen Bannon called GTV Music Group, and he's also reached a settlement with the Securities and Exchange Commission to pay $539 million in refunds and fines in conjunction with the illegal fundraising for the companies. It's unclear how much will be reimbursed to his investors. So he has been using online misinformation network to promote the use of unproven treatments for COVID, as well as pushing conspiracy theories about vaccine deployment by Pfizer and Moderna. I'm really starting to like this guy. I really, really am. I am starting to like this guy. I am. I am really liking him. So at the end of the day, this is obviously one of the things that's been posted out. It's like, like Fight for Hong Kong, supporting the Hong Kong protesters, which obviously I have been supporting for as long as it's been going. So obviously Gettr has had a tremendous surge in signups after the podcast superstar Joe Rogan has joined the platform. So Gettr is the free speech social media platform which fights cancel culture, welcomed 171,629 new users on Sunday. The biggest surge in a single day sign-up since launching on July 4th. After podcaster Joe Rogan and dozens of other big names joined the platform, including myself actually. Although I'm not a big name, I'm just saying I joined on the same day. Activist Eddie No, political commentator Dave Rubin, Larry the Cable Guy, Dr. Jordan Peterson, Kyle Schmidt, Carol Martz, Salin Zatt, Josh Hammer, Andrew Bagat, James Webb, a whole bunch of people, Tim Kennedy. They've all joined Gettr just recently. So obviously this is incredible news for Gettr, and incredible news for the social media platform. So they're saying tens of thousands here, but it was actually 171,000. So like I say, we're starting to see the media play the same sort of games when it comes to like the protests here in Australia, right? They claim that there's 1,000 people, when there was like 300,000 people. They're trying to fudge the figures, right? So at the end of the day, yeah. Now obviously Nick Fuentes, Gettr bans gropers. Bannon owned by Chinese billionaire. Look, at the end of the day, I've always had my questions about Nick Fuentes. Look, he seems like he's a nice guy. But there's been times where I'm like, yeah. So gropers here is sometimes called the Groper Army. They're a group of white nationalists and far-right activists, propagandists and internet trolls who are notable for their attempts to introduce a far-right politics into mainstream conservatives in the United States. So that might make some sense as to why they were banned, because we do know that obviously that Gettr has terms of service, like Twitter. But at the end of the day, if they are a far right, and we're just taking this as, take it with a grain of salt, but that would make sense with Nick Fuentes and stuff like that. At the end of the day, if that's why they were banned, that kind of makes a bit of sense. Now, I know people sit there and go, oh my God, they're supposed to be a free speech platform. Here's the thing. You will never have a free speech platform completely. right? Because as soon as they do that, the first things that'll happen is they'll remove it from the App Store, they'll remove it from Samsung's store, they'll remove and basically it'll kill the platform, right? This is the same thing that Gab has had. You can't go onto the app stores and download the Gab app, right? So at the end of the day, this is the way that the Silicon Valley controls these sort of platforms. Now, at the end of the day, do I think they're going to be right-leaning? Yeah, I definitely think they're right-leaning. Are they more likely to ban the lefties than to ban the righties? Sure. I don't think you're going to have a big problem as long as you're not getting on there talking about a final solution or stuff like that. I really don't think you're going to have an issue. After everything that I've been reading and finding out about this guy, I'm actually changing my tune a little bit. Yesterday, I was a little bit worried. Just a smidgen worried about what was going on. Today, I'm even less worried than I was yesterday. So it definitely seems like maybe there's a bit of propaganda being put out against Gettr. And maybe some of that propaganda might be coming from the Twitter sphere, because maybe they are worried that Gettr might be the up-and-coming new platform. We saw this with Parler. We saw this with Gab, obviously, at the end of the day. Any of these platforms that start giving these major corporations a run for their money, all of a sudden they just seem to get taken down for naughty words. So at the end of the day, it's very convenient. And that is why I reckon Gettr has these rules and these terms of service. Yeah, you're not going to have a complete free speech platform. It sucks. It really, really does. Until we start finding an alternative to the App Store and the Samsung store and stuff like that, then unfortunately we're all going to be in this situation. And the only way to do that is to get people into Linux. By the way, going to do a video about that soon because I've been really impressed. Because yes, at the end of the day, as for this, look, as for Gettr, I'm not putting all my eggs into one basket, but everything that I'm seeing here, this Miles Cho guy actually seems like he might be a stand-up fella. He stands up for Hong Kong. He's saying down with the CCP. He's lining himself with Stephen Bannon and the Trump supporters. And at the moment, I'll tell you what, some of the vaccine stuff that's been posted on Gettr is really interesting. And it would never get posted on Twitter. So yeah, they're definitely more free speech than what Twitter is. It's not totally free speech, but they're getting there. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. This Miles guy actually seems like he might be a stand-up fella. Let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section. Obviously, this video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Enjoy yourself. And join me on Gettr. Follow. Give me a follow. I've got to build up my follow base on there. So, yeah. Apart from that, link will be in the description below. Apart from that, guys, have a great night and enjoy.